Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have been working on this beautiful Gottlieb airport pinball machine for a customer. And we did one video where we just kind of looked it over and we worked on the mech board down underneath it and a little bit in the back box and got it to turn on. And then we did another board where there were a whole bunch of hacks underneath the playfield. And we removed the hacks. The hacking has stopped. And then we did another video where we put in a couple of little parts that we ordered for a few of the little problems that we had. A missing coil stop in the back box. We worked on a bell in the back box. We removed the pop bumpers and we removed the flippers so that we can get this thing ready to try to save this playfield. This thing has put in the work, folks. It has been down in the trenches. At some point, this thing, the playfield became dirty and no one cleaned it, and it kept going. It let people play it after that. And then at a later point, it looks like it got wet or something, right? And the thing kept going. It let people play it after that. It's put in so much work here at the airport. We've got to try to fix it up. So if we play it too much longer with this playfield messed up like this, it's just going to deteriorate to the level that you won't see any of the art up at the top at least. So we got to try to fix it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take everything off the top of the playfield. There'll be a few little things sticking up, but mainly everything will be gone from the top of the playfield. And then we will clean, and get it as clean as we can. We're going to use a magic eraser. Literally, that's what it's called, a magic eraser. Mr. Clean makes it. And get it as clean as we can. And that's going to leave us with a playfield that's clean but damaged. And then we're going to take acrylic paint and paint the places back in that are missing. Touch it up a little bit. We're going to try to do it a sympathetic restoration, I've heard people call it. I kind of like that. I don't like the word restoration because we're not really going to restore it where it looks new or anything like that. And I like the idea of a sympathetic restoration, though. We're not trying to make it look perfect. We're just trying to make it look better, right? And leave it with a little bit of its wear, and so that it looks like it's from 1969. If the thing was in perfect, brand new shape, you wouldn't want to play it. You'd be afraid you'd hurt it. We want it to be nice and clean and pretty from 1969, but with enough wear and age that it looks like it's from 1969. So there's my spiel. So this is what we're starting with. I'll go over it and show you what we've got before we clean it, and then we'll come back and look at it after Joe cleans it. There is a cracked plastic there on the right. I can't find one. I keep begging everybody for it. Nobody's got one. But it's fine. You know, we can use the cracked one. And also the flippers are missing some parts that they don't make reproductions of. Somebody hacked the flippers, but we're going to make that work too, one way or the other. So this is what we're starting with. The worst wear is up here at the top left. That looks pretty rough. And around here. But it's all solid colors. We should be able to get a pretty decent match on it and make it all look a little better. So let's get Joey busy, and he'll set up the tripod and clean it up a little bit, and then we'll break out the paint. Okay, so this is how it cleaned up. Lots of kind of speckling down here. Pretty heavy wear here. This side isn't that bad. Just paint missing in lots of places. And then the top is, you know, it's all pretty rough. I think we're going to have to paint back in a lot of this, actually. So I think what we'll do first is we'll try to work on this blue. So much of it's messed up, we might just repaint all of the blue. So I'm going to get something that's similar, a pretty close color, and we'll go from there. So what we do is we use acrylic paint, a little, you know, like basically hobby paint that you can get at Hobby Lobby, Michael's, all of those places. It's about $1 a bottle, and we've just got tons of colors. So I'm going to try to find one that's a pretty close match right out of the bottle. You can mix it. We mix it together a lot of times to try to get the color right. But if you're repainting everything, it don't have to be perfect. It just has to be close, right? And then once we're done painting it on, we'll clear coat it so that it stays on there. The acrylic paint will wash right off with water, so you can't, you know, if it gets wet or anything, it will not hold up. So you need to clear coat it to make sure that it stays. So let me see what I can find in the way of blue paint. dark blue dried. Now when we clear it, it'll kind of bring it together. I think it looks a lot better than it did. All of that wear gone. Okay, so next up I think we'll touch up the black. It ought to be simple. Black is black, like what was his name? Q-Tip said. So we'll repaint this part here. It needs it, and this part up here needs it. That's about all the black that needs it. I guess the arrow here and the arrow here need a little bit. And later we may do some stuff with the, well, I guess we could use the Posca pen on all of this. There's a little acrylic paint pens that Posca makes that are acrylic, and they're pens, so it's easy to just draw in whatever. So let me grab those and see if we can touch some of this black up. So fortunately, this golden yellow is a pretty good match to this faded yellow on the playfield. It's a little bit off. So what I'm doing is I'm getting just a little tiny bit of it on a little tiny brush, and I'm carefully painting it in these little cracks. But if you get a lot of it in there, it looks too bright. Like that isn't quite a good match. So I'm just painting the rest of them, and then I'm going back and trying to feather it in until it looks pretty decent. Which all that's really doing is thinning the paint a little bit. And it's making it match pretty good. And then whenever this acrylic paint dries, it dries slightly darker. So we're literally just trying to paint the cracks in. This is similar to the smear technique that Clay used to tell people to do. If you don't know about Clay, there was a gentleman back in the day. He's still around. He's young. He's a very young man. Good old Clay. I believe his last name is Harrell. I hope I didn't get that wrong. Clay Harrell. He has a website, pinrepair.com, and he basically shows you how to do just about anything on a pinball machine. And this is where I first saw him. That's where I first saw anybody talk about the smear technique. And the idea of that is you take acrylic paint, you paint it all over an area, and then you just smear it around, and then you kind of wipe it off. And what happens is the paint stays in the cracks because they are literally physically lower on the playfield. You wipe off the paint that's above it. So by doing that, you're basically only painting the cracks. And it works pretty well, but the reason you can't do that here is because you're going to smear that yellow paint all over these blue cracks, all in this black that we actually just painted. And so you got to be careful with it. But say you were doing it down in this area, you might not be able to see that in this area. You could probably get away with it if there was a bigger area, right? I don't know what we're going to do on the blue yet. We'll find out later. But this yellow is coming out a heck of a lot better than I thought it would. Just because this golden yellow is a pretty decent match right out of the bottle. There are certain colors of paint that are harder to mix on this, or for what I'm doing basically. It could be that with different type of paint it wouldn't be the same thing, but basically yellow is a tough one. Red is a tough one. It's tough to get yellow right, it's tough to get red right. And to be honest with you, I didn't think this yellow would turn out that great, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to do just a little bit more, and then we're going to say we're done with it. I don't want it to look new, even if I was capable of that, which I don't believe I am. You want it to have somewhere, you want it to look period correct, you know. So don't be afraid to leave it like we're going to leave that, because that is night and day better than it was. Can you tell that I painted all above where it says when lit on the left side? All of that was worn to the wood, but it just kind of feathered right in. Matches very nice. Alright folks, so that's how it turned out. We're still working on the pop bumpers and the flippers and stuff, but you can get a general idea. I think it's a decent. It doesn't look new or anything, but I think it looks better than it did. It had a lot of heavy wear. The blue up there looks a little mottled. It's not perfect. You can see the brush strokes, but that's a problem that I keep having. But I think it looks fairly presentable to the player, and that's all that matters. So hopefully the customer will be happy with it. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed it. On the next video, we'll try to finish it up. We've got to wire in the flippers. We've got to do some more cosmetic stuff. I still need to clean the score reels in the back box. And then we need to just troubleshoot it and see what's working, what's not. And I think most things are working, though. And then go from there. So leave your comments below. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. Hey, you may have noticed we started another channel. So our amateur repair time series that we've been doing on the weekends, we're going to put that on its own channel. So if you enjoy those videos, subscribe to that channel. The link is down below. And don't forget to check out my brother Donnie. My brother Donnie has his own channel here on YouTube where he fixes arcade games. I mean, we fix arcade games, pinball machines, jukeboxes. My brother Donnie, the channel name is My Brother Donnie, has a farm. He fixes old buildings and old vehicles. So go check him out if you haven't already. I'm over there with him on his channel a lot. And the Amateur Repair Time channel will continue to be what we've been doing on the weekends, which is repairing like old radios, old clocks, vintage electronics, from an amateur point of view. So if you enjoy that kind of stuff and you've enjoyed those videos, make sure to subscribe over there. We'll keep putting them on this channel as well for a little while, but in the future, most of them will be on that channel so that this channel can remain just arcade pinball machine and jukeboxes. So we will see you on the next video, and hopefully, like I said, we'll finish this thing up next time. But I think the Playfield came out very nice. It's a very nice. So let us know what you think of it, and we'll see you on the next one.